I'm back with Inside Edition's Deborah Norville. We've been talking about some of the most outrageous coronavirus scams out there. And Patty thought she had found love online with this handsome man, and he's good looking. But in reality, she was talking to a con artist halfway around the world.
For 5 weeks, Patty Kort recorded her conversations with a man who said he's falling in love.
I'd like to hear your voice too.
He charms her with photos, a teddy bear with a message for someone special. This one says, "I love you." Then the messages get more intimate. "I'm dreaming of you, babe, tonight till tomorrow and for all of my life." He even sent her a photo of an engagement ring he wanted to give her.
So Patty thought she was talking to a man in North Carolina, charming, you saw the messages. Who was she really speaking with?
She was really speaking to a guy from Nigeria. And the incredible thing about Patty is that she got the guy from Nigeria to admit that he was trying to scam her. But I have a feeling that her antenna were up already, because who records themselves having these conversations? Either she thought it was going to go all the way to the aisle and that ring was going to be on her finger, or she thought this guy is a nefarious scammer and I'm going to have him dead to rights. And it turned out it was answer B.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, let's find out. Patty's joining us now. Patty, how did the conversations with this scammer progress?
Hi, thanks for having me on the show. So it progressed within instantly. Like the very first message that he sent me, he was like saying that I reminded him of his ex-wife, and within 2 days he was saying that he was asking me for $25 cards, and within like between the time of the 9th and the 29th, in 10 days it had gone up to like $500 cards, and then the big ask for $5,000 cards. And so he reached out to me on Instagram, and it starts right from the minute that they're professionals. It's almost like a hook, line, and sinker. They hook you with you're beautiful, and then they carry on with all the lines, and then then they present the big ask.
You know, they chum the water, they know what bait to use. But if I can, I'm curious, at what point did you realize there was a problem? I mean, what was the excuse he gave you for needing $5,000? That's a lot of money.
Well, so he told me that he needed to fix his crane so he could go and get a job with Mobile Oil, and then he would come and he would marry me and he would meet me after. And I knew right from the beginning, because when they reach out to you on Instagram, you know, usually they'll only have a few photos, and they're all put on there that day or within hours. So that's a huge sign for me. And then instantly they want to go over to another app like WhatsApp or Google Talk or something like that. And, you know, and then I just progressed from there. I knew that I had a feeling, and it's kind of like Deborah says, when you have that feeling, you know, you have to kind of go with it. So that's when I asked him for a voice recording, and I asked him to go on Skype so I could see his face, but the phone was broken, or they always have an excuse for why they can't, you know, literally, you know, say who they are or show who they are.
Well, if Patty, you know, this is the part that's fascinating to me. If Patty was actually talking to a man in Nigeria, who was the guy in those photos? That's what I'm always wondering about. Well, it turns out his name is Joey, and I wanted to bring him in. Joe, thanks for being on the show. I don't know.
Thanks for having me.
So I understand you and Patty have actually met since this incident, but this is not the first time a scammer has used your photos. I'm just curious, how did this all start? Why are they picking on you?
10 years ago, my husband and I were about to watch a movie. I looked down at my phone before we were going to watch, and I saw this woman contact me, and she said she was in love with me, and she found that it wasn't me, and she had found some guy was using my pictures, and she wanted to talk to me. And you know, I'm a relationship therapist, and it was shocking that people are using my picture for this, what I'm doing to help people, you know, heal around relationship. And I just said to her, I don't have time to talk to you. I'm happy to, you know, let you be on my Facebook wall or my Instagram wall, because you'll see I'm gay and I'm happily married. It wasn't me.
Oh my God.
How many women have contacted you who have been scammed with your photos?
Well, that's a good question. So I just had 5 last week. It was 40.
5 last week?
Yes.
How do they know to reach out to you? I mean, it's one thing to use someone's image, but Joe, it sounds like they're using your name too, and these people are actually getting to you personally.
No, they're not using my name. They put it, finally, they have somebody young actually put it in Google image search, right? Because they don't know to do that. I probably wouldn't have known to do that either. And then they find out it's me, then they find out my name.
Okay.
Yeah, we've taught you guys that, and everyone at home, it's easy to do. You can take any image and reverse it and go find out who it really is, which is for these scammers, death knell. So, Joe, you've heard from some of these women who have been targeted over the years. What do they tell you? What have they lost?
Oh, they've lost thousands. I mean, some women said I had $10,000. Some people have lost homes, and they're devastated and they're lonely. And I feel so bad for them. But then I end up feeling actually bad for myself because they're using not just my picture, of course. I'm being exploited, but so are my niece and nephews because these guys say these are my children.
Oh.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said to me. He had all of Joe's families, all of his pictures. He said that was his late wife. He said that I reminded him of his late wife. He, they reach out. That's exactly what they do. They just pretend to be that person and just steal their identity. And you believe that it's that person for the first little while.
So, Deborah, what are we to do? What should folks at home do to protect themselves?
Well, I think there are two things. First of all, I think in the case of Joe's situation, if your social media profile is open, you have allowed people from Nigeria who are con artists to have access to all of your photos. So if you are genuinely concerned about this, you should consider making your Instagram or your social media private, invitation only. That's one way to prevent that from happening. On the other, it's, if when in doubt, don't. If there is something that is raising a flag for you, you've got good common sense, and that's the reason God gave it to you. So don't respond, and certainly don't give anybody your personal information.
What, Deborah, common sense is not so common.
This is true.
We gotta be attentive.
This is why we can do stories like this. But Patty, kudos to you for recording your odyssey with this and being a good example for so many people on how to be suspicious. And Joe, we hope that they stop doing this to you because it's just not right.
Yes. Hopefully this helps. Maybe you'll be too notable from now on. All right, you can see lots more of Deb Norville daily on Inside Edition. Please check